everyone. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 Grand Finals. I'm your host, Miles Moretti. We are gathered here today to witness 16 of the world's best PUBG mobile teams duke it out to be crowned PMGC champions on the most prestigious stage in mobile esports. And let's not forget what they're competing for. Our champions will claim the lion's share from the $6 million prize pool. I think it's about time we meet our competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2021 PMGC Grand Finalists. From the West, we have Chaos Next Guya, Nadas Vincer, Furious Gaming, Alpha 7 Esports, S2G Esports, and Fenerbahce Esports. From the East, we have DWG Kia, D Xavier, Stalwart Esports, NV, Nigma Galaxy, Infinity, 628, Team Secret, and last but not least, we have 4 Rivals Alliance. And by special invitation from the Battlegrounds Mobile India Series, Godlike Esports. Many thanks to our hosts, Tencent Games, Krafton, and Lightspeed and Quantum Studios, our tournament organizer, VSPN, and global sponsors, YouTube Gaming and OnePlus, the makers of the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro, which are tailor-made for gamers with their flagship performance, immersive 120Hz display, and hyper-touch technology, giving you the edge you need in-game. Thanks as well to our local sponsors, Fairmont Singapore, Singtel, and Singapore Tourism Board, and the Singapore Games Association for their amazing support. Each and every one of them has played a pivotal role in making this momentous occasion possible. We watched as the teams clawed their way to the top in the East and West League finals, but now their true challenge begins. Over the next 3 days, we will witness what the world's best PUBG mobile players are capable of as they finally come head-to-head to find out who will be the next to glory. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. The PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals begins right now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moretti. Yes, we are here live for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. It is the grand finals, and it's time to find out who our best team in the world will be. We got some special teams coming in from India. Finally, we're getting to see India come back into life here, but it is also time to not only introduce myself, as Mr. Moretti got to be the host there. I'm the guest host. I'm Jason Capney, as you might recognize me from pretty much any PUBG Mobile event ever happened. Not to toot my own horn. We also have the handsome gentleman to my left. Your guys is right. We got Max, man. And we got Seven Worlds Gaming. Max, man, it's been a while since I've seen you in person. Seven, it's been even longer since I've seen you. How you been since, what, a year ago?
Definitely a year. I mean, I've been doing great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the West teams are going to be able to do in this event, because we've been having a lot of rivalries between East and West. Well, guess what? Now we're going to find the answers. How about you, Max? How you been?
East. I'm sorry, Brad. I do respect the appreciation given to West, but nice is East.
I mean, that's the question, right? We always talk about East being the most dominating region, but what about Godlike coming in from India?
Hey.
My boys coming into this one. I'm curious to see if they can live up to the hype we always hear about them, but also more importantly, it's been over a year since we've seen them play here in an international event. But before we do talk really in depth about them, let's update you guys on what's happening throughout these next 3 days. 6 matches a day, Max, quick math. How many matches in total is that?
That's 18.
18. Perfect.
Woo!
We did
Yeah,
not rehearse
good
that
start.
whatsoever. But of course, at the very end of those 3 days of play, we'll have our champion who takes home, what is it, $1.5 million?
Biggest prize for a mobile gamer, of course, esports for first place. 1.5 million. Coming back as a millionaire team by taking first place alone in this tournament, that's just never seen before, and that's a lot of pressure. I mean, 1.5 mil, I would feel a little bit stressed at least. Yeah.
I mean, that's like half of Seven's day rate up at 7. I mean, we always get to talk about like kind of the format of the whole thing, besides the prize pool, which is ridiculous. The point system, for me, at least in this last year alone, has given us so many close finals, and I'm expecting it to happen yet again.
It has been so great. I mean, so many things have come down literally to the final match,
Yeah.
the final play. It can be just 1 point away. It can be one elim that separates the team. So it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to see that maybe here towards the end again.
And noticing that maybe that 1 point could be the separation between becoming a millionaire and unfortunately not, or really even
Not
coming close
becoming
to
a
it. But we can see our participating teams here in this event. Remember, 16 teams. We have 6 coming in from West. We have 9 coming in from East. And we have that special invite for Godlike here. And I mean, off the bat, you know, Max, let's just jump into this. Which teams are you really looking out for to perform well in this event?
I know, I did East, so of course I'm going to have to go for some of the teams from East. The two teams that have been extremely consistent, extremely strong throughout the entirety of the PMGC League stage for the Eastern region. For me, I have two in mind. It's both Infinity and also Star Wars. They're just two teams that were consistent. Their fragging potential is absolutely insane. And when it comes to closing off games, which not every single team out of these 16 teams can actually execute well, I think these two teams are just miles ahead of the rest and have a really big shot for that first place.
Okay, well, Max, if you're talking about East Team 7, I'm hoping you're going to talk about a couple of West teams for us.
You bet. You bet. I'm just going full on West, okay? I'm going to be supporting my boys. And with this one, I mean, the main two teams I'm going to be looking at, and especially shout out to Next Ria. They were the champions, right, out of West. But I'm going to be looking at what Navi is going to be doing. I'm also going to be looking at what Alpha 7 is going to be doing. And the reason why I mentioned that, in case you didn't get a chance to see West, they were fighting every single match that we did in Erangel. Their rotations were very similar. So I want to see if now the time that they have had, right, if they're going to be able to readjust to that, if they were able to find different patterns of what Alpha 7 was doing in regards to Navi, and then what Navi was doing in regards to Alpha 7. So it'll be really exciting to see how they're going to be adjusting to, especially the finals. 3 days, 18 games.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, looking at, you know, West in general, it was, the story of West was not about Alpha 7, obviously a little bit of redemption story, especially for Korea come into this event, but it was the domination of Turkish teams, man. You had Next Ria, you had S2G, you had Fenerbahce. They really put Turkey back on the map where football has left this kind of giant hole.
Yeah, I think before that we had every single Turkish team qualify from the European PMPL Championship into PMGC Western League stage, so really the Turkish representation right now is at an all-time high, but on this international stage now with teams from the East, can they compete? That's the big question to answer here.
Well, speaking of competing, Damwon, our winners of East, coming in from South Korea, unexpected, I think we should say. No one would have guessed. The team who ended up finishing, well, in what place in East? They were
13th.
very low down. 13th place to come out first in the finals. Completely unexpected, but I think the real question for them here is, Max, can they do it again?
Hopefully they can do so. I mean, we talked a lot about this one with Kalaris, especially on the East show, and we talked about how dominant the Korean region is as a whole, mainly in PC games. But mobile games, they were not there just yet, but they are stepping up big time. And you had a few individuals that would step up every once in a while and think it potentially back at Forest, who was stepping up sometimes, Sung especially, but now the entire team is performing at a really high level. If we see the same Damwon that what we saw in the league finals, I think they could be a really, really big hassle for all the teams in this lobby. So Damwon, if they can make it happen back to back, that would be a huge step up from the South Korean region.
And 7, like this team, they were kind of a letdown in league stage. I mean, I'm not gonna be nice about it. They were definitely a letdown. We saw one chicken dinner early on coming out of Sung, who just snaked it to the very end and won a 1v2. But this team, if we talk about these marathon events, right, where you have 3 weeks of play versus these sprint events, which is just a finals, you're seeing here this team was able to step up like that. Especially if you look at Nova last year, did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and something that I really like actually about Damwon is the player Uni. The way he was able to confirm a lot of the damage that he did into actual Ilims. I mean, if you compare them, the second place person in regards to Ilims, he had 34 Ilims, 7,900 damage. Juni was in third place with 5,800 damage and 32 Ilims. So those are kind of stats that it's going to propel your team immensely, especially if you maybe have a bad game. You can always count on Juni maybe being able to steal an Ilim, something along those lines.
And the question for me is obviously with it being such a sprinting event, right? 3 days to play, 18 matches in total.
Yeah.
It's about if those teams can have those good matches when they need them. If you're a team that's really inconsistent, you have high highs and low lows, this is an event that can technically work in your favor if you can maintain those high highs, but obviously work against you if you have those low lows. And there's a lot of teams technically with that same kind of pressure. You look at the likes of Infinity as well. Like, I mean, that team was so consistent in league play, and then they go into the finals and they didn't perform up to scratch. But speaking of Infinity, one man who always performs up to scratch, Newsy. We talked about him so many times, Max.
Yeah, Professor Tarzan hyped up the guy before the PMPL League stage, saying that he had the potential of being the MVP, got really close, most of the time fighting it out with some players on Stalwart, especially Action and Top, but Newsy was always on top of his game. But I don't want to give credit to only Newsy, really, because we talked a lot about him, but when you're looking at the entire team, Mela, Logan, Tony in particular, able to clutch out these moments. This is not a team that has only a star player. They have a star player with players behind him that will allow him to just perform so well consistently. I think that right now Infinity is just, as Kalash would say, a full championship caliber team right now, and I think that they might have the chance of being a world championship caliber team here.
What about Timber 7? We had him coming in as well, the MVP from S2G.
I heard you say a championship caliber team. That's what S2G is for me as well. They were that team that was able to flip that switch. They were able to be patient when they needed to be patient, but if they saw a weakness in the team, they were able to just full on attack and make sure they collected those points. So in regards to Timber, I mean, he was able to get great stats, 30 illness. He was able to be the best player out of that team. With Alpha 7 here that we have on the screen, a player that I'm going to be calling out right off the bat is actually going to be Carrillo, because we didn't really get a chance to see much of him until the very end during the West. So I would like to see if Alpha Sim is going to be relying a lot on Revo, if he's going to be relying a lot on Mafioso. Luckily for them as well, Senatexa was able to have pop-up moments and clutch moments as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Alpha Sim is going to be doing, especially Carrillo.
All right, well, let's take a look actually at a really cool comparison. I love the idea of this, comparing the league points here between West and between East, or sorry, the finals, I should say. And we can kind of get an idea of like where the domination was. You can see a lot of East teams ranking above the first place team coming in from West. You see Nexria being the first team throughout there, but you have Damwon, Xavier, and Stalwart Esports ahead of them. Yeah,
Xavier also coming in hot with those 5 chicken dinners, of course, coming into that one. Xavier with a big surprise, and I think a lot of people did not expect them to do that well after, what I would say, a middling performance in the league stage of the Eastern PMGC. It was a little bit of a tough time at the start, but they brought themselves back up in a really good fashion, though Xavier, now my big question mark is if they have a harder time to confirm those wins, which I believe might become an issue for them here, can they still be on the top 3 podium here to try and potentially contest with those top prize balls if they cannot convert those wins? I have a big question mark for Xavier, how they can perform here, so we'll have to see how that's going to potentially pan out in these first few games.
All right, moving ahead, though, taking a look at who our most deadly players were when it came to the Super Weekends and the finals. And when we talked about him before, we got to talk about him again. Well, actually, maybe we shouldn't talk about him since we already did touch on him. Maybe we should talk about the man to our left here, Top. Stalwart Esports, a team, a championship caliber team, hands down. Every single player can pop off, but Top did so.
Yeah. As I called him, a shiny Korea. Okay, we found a shiny Pokemon over there. It's fine. But yeah, Top and Action are the 2 players. Even though Action is not here, you still got to give credit to the duo that are just incredibly deadly. And Stalwart with Pika being the IGL long-range player and Scry being the one to create opportunities for the team, finding those off angles and flanks to try and create a good opportunity for Top and Action to perform and get those frags. It's just so well executed every single time. I just love the execution. But on the other side, you have Kelsey here, 7, that is just with the synergy and the experience of Silas brought to the table as just able to step up big time.
Yeah, and just the way they're able to put themselves in the map. They've been doing a lot of middle of the circle engagements.
True.
They're making sure that they always rotate to the middle. They're making sure that they also spread out a little bit. And honestly, with S2G, I know we were talking about this, Max, and I'm going to bring it up right now that we have a little bit of time, is I would like to see how that's going to be playing with the team of the likes of Nova, because Nova tends to play that kind of middle of the pack strat as well. And another thing that we need to mention as well between these 2 teams is SGG has been able to prove that they can play very passive. So who's going to be the most patient team and who's going to be willing to strike at the right time?
Well, speaking of patience, I think that's something Max doesn't have, because unfortunately every time we do an event, he can never seem to get what he wants out of it in terms of in-game skins. We have the PMGC 2021 special set. It looks phenomenal. I saw Ocean posting over on Instagram earlier on today. Max, I mean, this thing looks sick.
I'll, you know what? I'll try. I'll try and do some pulls tonight. I'll see if I can get it, but my luck has never been good, so it's probably not going to happen. But I'll give it a try.
Yeah, you never got the Tesla, did you?
Come on.
I gotta bring it up. I gotta bring it up. I gotta make him feel bad about it. But to be fair, Neither did I, Max, so we could both be sad.
I can give you guys some luck. I actually got it, you know. Maybe you guys can
Lucky
give me
number
some luck
7.
and I can get the new scar skin. It's really, really cool.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of people posting about that one. Obviously, make sure to give us some follows here around the board on YouTube or at PUBGMOBILE Esports. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have TikTok. You have so many ways to keep up with all the action happening in PUBG Mobile Esports. Even give us a follow because we also post a little bit about it as well. I'm not going to promote us as much as I'm going to promote obviously these channels, but if you want to give us a follow, we won't really complain too much. Yeah, exactly. I wish mine was that easy. But also have the lucky draw going on for you guys as well happening. Also, you even have the PMGC tokens being given away. If you guys remember from the league stage, you guys watch at the time within the Esports Center over on YouTube, you get these tokens that you can use to unlock special items. And we also have a goal we're trying to hit. 1 million viewers. And we'll be giving out quite a few different prizes in particular. You guys are all going to be getting rewards. We'll see. We'll see if you guys are lucky. No, we'll see what happens. But you know what? Considering last year on day 1, we had 3.8 million concurrent viewers. Pretty sure we're going to hit that 1 million goal.
I think we're good. I think it should be pretty easy to get there. I don't know. We'll have to ask Blank if we are going to bring back Barky the dog for the viewership. I think that might be something to bring. No, you didn't do World League East. I'm sorry, you won West.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, I did the cool side of it. All right, I did West with 7 and all the awesome group, also awesome crew. But to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be playing and when, we're starting things off on Erangel. We're going to have 3 Erangels a day, 2 Miramars, and 1 Sandhawk. So things will be getting hot and moist as well in the middle part of our day.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see which teams are going to have consistency across the most important maps of Erangel and Miramar 7.
See, why you had to throw that one to me? I thought you were going to say Sandhawk. I thought you were going to see Madness. I was thinking already of the hot drop that's going to be happening on Sandhawk as well. But in regards to Erangel, I mean, I kind of have to go back to what I was saying with Navi and Alpha 7. It's going to be very interesting to see how those teams are going to be playing as well. Now, on the top, Thor Severny, they're going to have to worry about Team Secret if Team Secret does decide to drop there. Something that happened a lot to Alpha 7 especially during the West Finals, was that Alpha 7 kept getting caught off guard. They weren't really expecting for a team to still be there. Alpha 7 has been rotating very late as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be able to adjust to that. And then we have Nova that lands in Gatka, right? If they decide to, we usually tend to see them play mostly middle circle, but let's say we end up getting some kind of crate circle, right? Yeah. And we know the Nova accuracy. We know what Paraboy is able to do, right? If those teams decide to rotate left, or if they maybe get caught in a rotation, it can be very hurtful for them. We only have 18 games. If you have one bad game, that's it's going to be compromised.
Yeah, and out of the 18 games, you only have 3 Sanhok coming in play. My one question I have, Jason, right now is Nigma Galaxy.
All right, Rauf going to be healing out in the blue?
Exactly.
Pretty much guaranteed.
It's what's going to happen.
Taxes and Rauf healing out in blue and getting Nigma Galaxy a lot of placement.
But a big portion of their points came out from those heal-offs, happening on Sanhok. Yeah. So you only have 3 now. I want to see how much they've potentially evolved on those Erangels, on those Miramars in particular. They did get a win, a very big win actually, in Miramar in the League Finals of East. I want to see a little bit more consistency in those maps, and if so, we could see the Arabic region with Nigma Galaxy step up big time here.
Yeah, and speaking of big-time wins, big-time plays, big shout-out to OnePlus, our sponsor here at PMGC. With the OnePlus 9 Pro, you get 90 FPS Ultra smooth gaming. And when you use a OnePlus, you never have to settle. So keep that in mind, as well as a big shout-out to Fairmont Singapore for catering PMGC for the highest degree of pampering and 5-star award-winning hotel service. I wish we were there because that would be great. I know 7, myself, Max, we'd be sitting there in a chair getting our nails did, getting what, a pedicure it's called. I've never had one of those. I get a tan most likely as well when it's snowing here in Berlin, which is where we're currently doing the show from. But guys, I mean, we're almost actually about to kick off our first match here, and I'm getting really excited, really pumped up for a couple of teams in particular, and I want to start to focus a little bit more on them. I want to start things off talking about Godlike. Yeah, team from India coming in from BGIS. They have not played in an international competitive event like this since 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's how long it's been. The drought has been a very long time for teams from this region. They have so much pressure on their shoulders, but the upside for them is in 2019, they played in the PMCO global finals for the fall split. Yeah. They're used to this kind of pressure. They're used to playing at this kind of caliber. They have 3 players returning from that, with Clutchgut coming in from Team Seoul, who did play as well in there. This team has the weight of an entire country on their shoulders, and we know how passionate the Indian fans are. We know how strong India is in general when it comes to PUBG Mobile as a region. But the problem is they haven't had a lot of time to prepare for this event. Yeah, that's the thing. Odds are stacking somewhat against them because they didn't have time to prepare that much. They also had to travel. So the last time it got a little bit complicated on their side, and of course the drought you just mentioned there, Jason, that makes it a little bit hard for them to try and potentially get that experience. But they did in the past. Back in 2019, they had some really good results. They're coming back in the scene. I said it, the top 5. If they make it a top 5 here,
I would be genuinely impressed because this is going to be a really rough tournament for them. So we'll see if they can make it.
I'm not even going to be impressed if they get top 5. So I'd be like, yeah, just another day at the job for them. And speaking of Godlike, go ahead, Sam.
With Godlike, I was actually going to mention Clutch God. You mentioned him. He used to play with Team Soul. That team didn't really do so well. We expected a big hype for Clutch God, and it just didn't happen. It seemed maybe the pressure of being on the big major event kind of crumbled him a little bit. Here, now he has a lot more experience. He's been able to play with this team for now more than 2 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see if finally, right, we had so much expectation out of Clutch God, if finally we're going to be able to see it. And then how is he going to be working together with Jonathan? Because we know Jonathan, at least for me, he's one of the best players out of India. So I'm going to be excited to see if they're going to be fragging out, how they're going to be able to work together as well as a duo.
Yeah, well, that is why, for me, as we just talked about, why, in my particular opinion, Godlike is a team to watch here over the course of the event, especially in this first match. I want to see how they start things off, how they get things going. And on the note of Clutch God, I mean, he's in the same boat as Frozen from Next Korea. At least he was back then, right? There's so much hype around this player as an individual. Clutch God, unfortunately, didn't live up to the hype then. But speaking of hype, Max, which team are you looking out for to watch?
I mean, I already talked about Star Wars. You know, this is a team that I think could be going for that first place, getting that 1.5 mil. They just have everything ironed out to perfection. So Star Wars is going to be the one that I'm going to be supporting until the very end, and hopefully they can make it go really far. I would like to see minimum a podium finish.
Okay, so Godlike for me, Stalwart for you. Seven, who do you got?
Do Brazil.
Come on.
Come on. You know I
West guy.
had to. I had to go with Alpha 7 for all the stuff that I've been mentioning in regards to Navi, how they're going to be adjusting. And this is a team that can definitely carry momentum. And if they can start hot, I would love to see how they're going to be able to carry that momentum.
I mean, they dominated. I mean, I think dominate is an understatement when it came to PMPL Brazil, right? They were the most formidable force coming out of that region. And in particular, you have Senatexa. You know, he actually played back in 2019. He's here yet again on the big stage. Carrillo's back from last year, who's looking to redeem himself and obviously help take Alpha 7 to the next level. You guys watch Between the Battlegrounds. Well, if you haven't, you need to go watch it. But you get to hear about Carrillo and talking about the problems they've had within the team and him trying to help step back up for themselves. But speaking of stepping up here, we're going to step up the hotness game on the show. We're going to bring our commentators in for the first time of the day for the first 3 matches. Necro, Mustache Dave, take it away, boys.
Hey, thank you, Jason, Maxman, and Seven. Beautiful work. What an amazing day here. We got 18 games, Necro. Are you pumped up?
Oh, dude, is that even a question? Definitely pumped up, man. I mean, the first game of the Grand Finals. Dave, we have been waiting for this moment for a long time, without a doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. We got the best teams and players in the world right now. Nova Esports Paraguay, Godlike Esports Jonathan, Alpha 7, Carrillo, Stalwart Esports Action. 9 teams from the East, 6 teams from the West, 1 team from India. Best of 18. It all starts now. Necro, let's get into the game.
Oh man, it all definitely starts now. And playing flat path as well, starting all the way from down south. This is going to be an interesting one, Dave. I can already tell the hotness in the military base. I can already tell it, man. Stalwart Esports, we of course know they like to drop in Nova of Doi. Now, if you talk about a lot of drop clashes coming inside the map of Rango, I mean, the only drop clashes that I'm really going to be witnessing of here, it has to be like Navi and Alpha 7. Because of the playing flat path as well, I do want to see what kind of improvisations these teams are going to be showing.
Oh, we are talking about it. Talking about the plane path, man. All the way down here towards the south. Yeah, I agree with you. It will kind of force these teams to some uncomfortable positions that they might not be used to with their tried and true drop spots. One in particular, you talked about Navi. Look at this, kind of spread out there on that west side. They are going to have to possibly get to an early engagement, but circle number 1. Yeah, circle number 1. It can't be any better, all things considered, with this plane pack.
Oh, dude, a complete southern circle. That means teams like Stalwart Esports, they're going to be favored here big time, including Infinity and Navi as well. Now, if you talk about improvisations, Navi, I mean, if you've never seen them drop over there, Dave, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm sure they got some practice. You know, they are a world-class team, right? And I do like this position that Navi are going to be holding down because of the zone. Now, if the zone would have shifted up there towards the north, where they would have to quickly loot and then rotate on out of that current spot on that west side of the military base island, I would be a little concerned. But now, I feel like they have quite the advantage because they can get that loot, and they could possibly, Necro, set up a beautiful bridge camp out there on that west bridge and possibly get some early game elim points here, which could, do wonders for him.
Oh, dude, that's definitely going to be doing a lot of wonders, especially trying to hold off a team like STG that's going to be trying to make it in on the left side of the bridge. That's going to be quite interesting. Now, if you talk about rocket starts, if you talk about boosters on the overall rankings, you've only got 3 days to work with, 6 games each day. And now, if you talk about booster starts, HTG has to be one of those teams that are really good in those couple of initial days. But if you talk about some good things, some good shots kind of taken on himself and 4 rivals, not really looking that great for now. One man taken down quite low, and he's also getting pushed on by CC.
Yeah, looks like we got a classic 2v1 here. 4 rivals about to lose one. Oh, make that a 3v1. Oh, I shot pulling up with that UMP. Looking to get, I believe this is the first elim of the tournament. So there we go. The match has officially started here, Necro.
The first blood, man. The first blood. Not going to be happy after that one for rivals. They're definitely going to be having a little bit of sad aura on their team, but it's fine. They still have 3 players to work with them. We've seen in the past as well. Sometimes the trio can make a lot of things happen, Dave.
Yeah, and right there, the PMGC token, like Jason mentioned, we're going to hit 1 million viewers, and everybody going to be getting them nice, juicy rewards. Now, getting back to the game, we got Fenerbahce. At least one of my favorite players, the Dukin Machine. We can see him out there in that buggy with that nice rotate. Action, though. Action. Going for some shots with the M4. Connecting. And keep in mind, connecting on a moving motorcycle. Action has to be one of my favorite players also from Stalwart. One of the strongest players, in my opinion. We saw them from their respective region able to get a ton of elim points and put in a ton of damage. I really like Action and Top. That duo right there is definitely a duo to keep your eye on this tournament.
But gotta say, Fenerbahce definitely got nerves of steel to pull off something like that. Just to sneak past through Stalwart Esports noses like that. Oh, that's a bold move, and that's going to be paying off quite well in the future as well. And now if you talk about Stalwart Esports, man, I've got a huge history behind this team. Coming inside, first time I saw them in the PMPL Season 3, actually, no, scratch that. I saw them in the wild card, in the PMCO wild card playing. I was like, all right, this team has a lot of caliber. Then later on moved in the PMPL Season 3, they absolutely dominated that as well. And then even in the SA Championship, dominated that as well. And back in the day, they were known as like the Astro Academy, right? And then later on, coming inside in the future, they got signed by Stalwart Esports, and now we're here, Dave. Now they're here. They're literally one of the best teams out there.
The best lobby in the world, too, right now. The top of the competition. I love how you said it. Now they're here. They legit started from the beginning. And another kind of interesting kind of note about Stalwart in particular, just looking at the East League, they were, if not one of the most consistent teams when it comes to Erangel. Now, I'm bringing that up because we only got 18 games. Okay, hear me out. True. We only got 18 games. Erangel makes up 50% of those games. What are your thoughts, man? Stalwart Esports, where do you see them performing here? With that in mind, with that knowledge that I just laid on you.
Now, look. Not just Stalwart Esports, there are a couple of teams that are really good. I would say pretty consistent on each and every single map. So we cannot rule out Stalwart Esports just like that. Yeah, I do understand they have one of the most consistent rate, coming inside the grand finals as well. So I would say Stalwart Esports, they're definitely going to be one of those teams. At least we're seeing top 3, man, inside the Erangel, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. I'm a true, I'm one of them dudes that I like to look at the numbers. I like to crunch them, and I like to base my opinions on these numbers. So that's why when I was looking at Erangel, and with that in mind of it being 50% of the map pool, I also had to kind of turn my eyes to the West League to look who's the most consistent over there. And there was one team that popped up as far as consistency on every single map. Erangel, Miramar, and Sanok. Guess who that team is from the West League? Do you have a guess?
Alpha 7? Alpha 7?
Alpha 7, yes. Alpha 7 were, if not the most consistent team from the West League here. And I gotta say, 7 from the desk picked them not only because they have a 7 in their name, but 7 knows for a fact that this team is definitely going to be giving it their all here in this lobby, along with all the other squads, of course. But if I had to pick, this is where I was going with this. If I had to pick a team as well, it's going to be up there at the top. The Mustache Dave pick has to be Alpha 7.
And hey, we also got to talk about the team from India, man. Godlike. Now, Let's set some light on this. I'm pretty sure the analyst desk did a really good job on pretty much, just taking out the history for how long it has been. They haven't really been in this kind of a competition. So, I mean, I do understand it's going to be like a huge change in the pace as well for Godlike. So what do you think so, man? Like, is the adaptive nature going to kick in right now? Or is it going to be like maybe tomorrow?
So, Godlike might not have a lot of time to really like hone down, practice, get comfortable. So, I think it's not going to hurt them too much because I feel like a lot of teams have the same nerves, right, coming into the day. And we can kind of see it. They're playing a little slower. They're not all just rushing to a spot, somewhat center, especially the teams up north. They're taking their time to rotate. They're just waiting to see where this next zone goes. So I think Godlike can kind of play that into their advantage, right? They know for a fact other teams are going to be playing slow, trying to get a little loose, a little comfortable. And I think day one, if I'm Godlike, I'm just looking for consistency. And what I mean by that is, constant placement points every single game with a couple elim points, right? Just get a good foothold on the overall leaderboard so that day 2 and 3, you can really run with it.
Yeah, but from what I saw in the BGIs, Dave, is that Godlike is one of those teams that is really kill hungry, right? They go for those kills. They're kind of like an aggressive team, which is understandable. But yeah, as you mentioned over here, consistency is what really matters, and you need to go for those placement points as well. Just kills points isn't going to seal it. You need those placement points as well to try and make your mark on top of the leaderboard. But yeah, we also do have the next circle shifting in, and I do really like Fenerbahce's position.
Fenerbahce, straight chilling out there. We also got Furious Gaming making the swim. S2G are going to be braving it to send it across this bridge. Nice strat. Remember earlier on, I was kind of calling for Na'Vi to possibly be able to gatekeep this bridge, but instead of gatekeeping this bridge, it looks as if Na'Vi kind of sent it down to the south of the island. So they're going to be playing this one a lot safer, trying to avoid those early skirmishes. Very interesting play, but we might have a potential fight over here on this bridge after all, because now Nova are going to be trying to drive on through here.
Oh man, they're going to be having a clear pathway for sure, because H2G as well is trying to play for their survival. We do see Solid Speed kind of closing his distance, but again, shouldn't really be that big of a threat for Nova. So for now, things are going to be looking quite calm. But as I mentioned, Fenerbahce's position definitely
dead center.
Kind of in the, they're like right in the center of the zone as well. And Godlike now going for that late rotation in the southern circles. Now, if you talk about West Side, Dave, we do know Na'Vi is one of those teams that do like to go for those late rotation in these military-based circles, and it never pans out for them.
No, so we'll definitely keep tabs on them here in game number 1. I'm looking at Godlike too. I mean, we caught a glimpse of Godlike. It looks like they were trying to be a little aggressive, but that was up against A7, so we'll have to get back to that one. Looks as if both teams kind of backed off from each other for the time being. And that's kind of the story that we are seeing for a lot of these teams here early game, is that they would see each other and then try to back off. They don't want that smoke. But talking about wanting that smoke, the boat taint, the failed boat taint out there on that west side of the coast. So Na'Vi, they didn't bridge camp, but they are doing a good job at trying to pick up whatever type of elim points they can out there on that coastline.
Oh, dude, Na'Vi definitely just beaming him out the water, man. Unfortunate, the boat just blew up, and 628 not going to be happy after that. Losing 2 players already inside the game. Definitely going to be having those sad faces. But yeah, Na'Vi, I do like the huge improvement that Na'Vi has shown. They're already on the military island. They're kind of looking good. Tixie all the way on the south side. A huge separation, but still, they have a lot of time to work it out. But DXavier making bold rotation out in the open, taking little shots from Nova. Nova as well, making sure that DXavier not going to be stopping by anywhere near.
Looks like Nova Esports is going to be picking up a nice little compound here. 3-1 split. They got 3 squad mates out there on that west side, and then Border still kind of straggling in the back line over there. They were taking some shots at DXavier as they did casually pass by on that high ground. For the time being, though, it's all about getting these early game positions, especially with this military-based zone. And you were looking at Fenerbahce. They were somewhat dead center. Next circle is going to shift here very shortly. Let's see, will it play into their favor? Stalwart Esports, too. I like that spot all the way up there at that radio tower, the highest vantage point here. Will it pay off? We'll find out right now. Oh.
It does. It does. S2G and Fenerbahce right in the center of the zone. Fenerbahce having the majority of the center. But again, the split is good. But if even one of the players gets spot out, and even if he gets taken out, that's going to be quite a huge task for Fenerbahce to go back to that player and get the rest back up. So I feel like at this point in time, they should be a little gathered up. Maybe a 2-2 split can work out pretty well.
One out here trying to defend here on the cliff lines. Team Secret looking like they're going to pull up. So far, it's a 2-2 split, but the other two squad mates in the back lines trying to group up. Eye shots, though. Mini in hand, applying that pressure. Here we go. First fight, first 4v4 of the game.
Oh, here we go. A kill already found. Jumper being taken out. Instantly gets confirmed as well. Fredo has a little bit of disadvantage with that low crowning. He gets taken out as well. And now shots. Oh, he's taking some shots from the left side. He needs to watch out because Junie has a huge advantage. Also with that high crowning shots, doesn't really have a good positioning. Just has that wiggle to work with and gets blown to smithereens. And just like that now, he's been taken out of the game. And that's going to be it for Team Secret.
Wow.
Eliminated, Dave. The first team to get eliminated in the first game.
Wow. Yep. My Damwon, too. One of the teams definitely showing up here from their region, cashing out, looking to continue trucking along with that momentum. And we were looking at Godlike a couple moments ago as they were crashing out there in the distance. Looks like Alpha 7 might have caught a whiff of a squad back here. They're going to be setting their flag right now on the beaches in the terrain. They are looking to just stay back here and get these elim points. Looks like they'll be camping this one out.
Oh, they have to. Because, I mean, A7 clearly knows that they have the prime positioning inside this fight. They can just try and hold up Godlike. But that's a beautiful knockout found in the A7 involve. 4 rivals just making that rotation. They were like, all right, this is our right moment to go in. And they just sneak past through Alpha 7. Alpha 7 with that knock being found kind of bought enough time for Godlike to make that push happen. And here we do have Clutch caught as well, falling down in that push.
Wow, Carrillo, what a great anchor position. They were in the back lines, pretty much playing oversight of their 3 squad mates that were pushed ahead. And it looks like it paid off. But let's see, though. Jonathan went for that wide rotate. Now he's going to be inside the smokes, looking to toss this grenade, looking to get a couple confirmed. Kaboom! Goes Jonathan right there with the double.
Oh, that's filthy. That's disgusting. Both the teams have 3 players knocked out, but unfortunately, Godlike, they're only left with 1 man standing. Same thing goes with Alpha 7. But now Jonathan gets Neo back up on his feet. That's going to be a sigh of relief for him. Godlike now. Jonathan especially looking to confirm the kill and trying to take out the final man as well. That's going to be his main goal. But guess what? The reply comes in through from the side of Carrillo. Carrillo as well is one of those players. He's one of the best out there. You can't just challenge him like that.
Yeah, Carrillo is in the back line, though. So best case scenario for Carrillo, try to avoid the sight lines and just survive at this point. They do not want to get taken out right here, right now, because a 14th position in Game 1 would net them 0 points. And that is not how Alpha 7 want to start this. But huge props to Jonathan right there. That double grenade definitely turned the tides for Godlike.
Oh, that did. That was a disgusting night, without a doubt. H2G. 7 just kind of driving off the compound, didn't realize it's already being occupied by Fenerbahce. So not interested in taking it. Fenerbahce doing a good job. Rebellion as well, trying to secure the vehicle, just making sure the tires aren't being popped off, but gets shot from the back. And here comes the push from Nextruya. There's a huge charge in, and Fenerbahce seems like they're crumbling down slowly and steadily. 2 players already being knocked out. Nextruya have 2 players knocked out as well on their side. You want to see how this fight's going to be panning out. And now it's all down to Duke and Machine.
It's up to the Duke and Machine, the Duke and Master with the grenade, trying to get that to that little window. Overshot it just a little bit. Does look like their teammate was able to pop into their compound, looking to get that revive. And here comes Noxbomb with the support here. Looks like the revives were successful on the next Rhea. Let's see, though. Noxbomb has a lot on their plate. They need to clutch this one out.
Oh, they do need to clutch this one out, but third party from Stalwart Esports. It's Pika who takes out Noxbomb. Duke and Machine again. Rebellion. These 2 players are alive. Duke and Machine, we do know what this man is capable of. He can pull off some insane clutches, but again, he's kind of like that man who likes to stay as squad as possible, but that beautiful nade is going to be taken out. Rebellion is also getting burnt down with that Molotov. That's not a good sign for Fenerbahce. Things are slipping out of their hands.
Yeah, next Rio, they were able to get the full reset over here. 4 squad mates up, pretty solid compound. This building, this area, dead center. Let's see, Duke Machine back against the wall, getting collapsed in on right now. UMP in hand, no chance.
That drop shot.
No chance right there. Next Rio, taking that compound from Fenerbahce.
Uzi is just too good in those close range. Just an absolute shredder. That drop shot as well, just in the mix. Oh, it's just kind of like a sprinkle of salt on top of it. But yeah, now we have Nigma Galaxy, another one of those teams that I have definitely eyeing out for. Nova as well, having pretty decent positioning inside here. Hamoudi in the front lines of Nova. King and Paraboy just trying to hold him off at bay.
Really do enjoy what Nova Esports have been doing this whole game with these splits here. So now they're going to be separated for the time being. But Don1 still out here just destroying the edge right now of the play zone, hugging it. 5 elim points so far this game here. Necro, talk about starting strong. That's exactly what they are doing. And if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty much the same story that they did during the East Final Championships. They started early with a chicken dinner and 19 elim points over there in those finals. And from there, they just maintained it. So if they can get that same start here, Don1, we might be looking at a possible championship top 5 team.
Oh man, the next circle shift is going to be just such a huge thing, right? It's going to be moving out in the open. Trust me, it is. And yes, it does. And now the only teams are in. They have a couple of components on their name, but they're the only going to be the lucky ones. Don1 Gaming seems like they're just getting absolutely demolished by Na'Vi because Na'Vi has huge high ground. With the high ground, they have also gotten a huge advantage over Don1 Gaming. So Don1 Gaming, they will need to try and take care of Na'Vi if they want to make it out of this tricky situation. And for that, they will need to find another knockout. That will buy them enough time, but the nade from Tixie will keep Sung down.
Ooh. They need to clean this one up quick, too, if you are Don1, because you are about to be pinched from Nova Esports from behind. So hopefully they have their head on a swivel and they don't just get sandwiched here.
Oh, man, Tixie is still just looking to inflict pain. And I do also see Nova kind of closing their distance onto them. And yes, Nova is looking to third party this entire situation. Paraboy in the front has a nade cooked up. And this nade might just be $1 million nade, but no, instead it was a little underhand. Just kind of understandable. Did not really make it up to the mark. 4 is still knocked down for Don1 Gaming, including Junie. Fabian, I can just imagine this man's nerves right now. They're probably rattling. And just like that, Don1 Gaming as well get eliminated.
Done. And Na'Vi, they do have the high ground, but they also have that little dip in the terrain up there that's really helping them keep their sight lines low from Stalwart in the back line. But after that one push, they were able to get a couple elim points, and they started to pull back because they recognized that there is another threat downhill. And that little dip that I was just talking about, it might be their demise, actually, because Stalwart, they reposition, and now they have sight lines on that dip. So Na'Vi, nowhere to go.
Oh, Na'Vi, definitely nowhere to go. They did get themselves a decent amount of elim points, if I'm not wrong, from that previous fight, but still. Now, because the circle moves out in the open, they will have to move from cover to cover. And just like that, not enough cover, indeed. And Nova going to be catching a little glimpse of Na'Vi. Xavier as well, if I'm not wrong, it's just going to be it. He's trying to just survive for as long as possible with those meds, but not going to be able to make it for that long. Mela gets his game spot from the back, and it's going to be Xavier who does that.
See ya. 7 teams to go. Nova Esports, we can see right there, 7 elim points. Stalwart Esports, 6 elim points. So Nova, they've been playing that west side. Stalwart Esports have been playing that east side of these zones. They're about to meet here very shortly. I do see Top, I do see King kind of up close and personal with each other. But right now, the main focus has to be this next circle. Where will it go? Who will be favored? I'm looking at next Rio. They got a compound. Will it be favored? If so, they're going to have a huge advantage.
Oh, man, but still the circle out in the open like that. And now favoring next Rio as well. Kind of favoring, not really. They're kind of like on the edge of the zone, but still they have the only compound inside the zone as well. So next Rio, they are going to be having huge side relief after that zone shift. But Noah, do you realize there's a team in the front? Need to watch out because it's Stalwart Esports as well. It's not just any other team. One of the best teams out there. Noah as well. We can't really underestimate them for sure. So this is going to be definitely a clash of titans.
Chillin'. down there in the bottom right-hand corner. Chilling. Talk about snaking it to make it. Talk about looking for them placement points here. Oh, I hope this pays off for him. But one of the main
just
fights...
taking a nap.
Just taking a nap.
Yeah, dude.
One of the main fights... We got two main fights, actually. You got Nova Esports Stalwart up there towards the north, and now S2G crashing next Ria's compound.
Oh, dude. They do realize the prime compound, and H2G is one of those teams that will not back out without a fight. Oh, I thought this nade might just do it. Yes, it does. Confirms the elim. That's going to be a huge thing for them next Ria. Still having the prime positioning inside this fight, and H2G having all the disadvantage in the world. This nade might be good. Oh, did not really make it to the mark.
What a call, though, from Next Ria to be able to decide to take this compound towards that mid-game. They snatched it away from Fenerbahce, now in this next zone, but they will have to defend it from two sides now because here comes Furious pulling up.
Oh, dude, Furious Gaming as well. It seems like they want a little bit of piece of compound. So they as well is just going to be charging in. Next Ria trying their best to defend this from two teams. S2G and Furious Gaming now. Next Ria, they are one of those teams that are pretty good as well, so we cannot underestimate them for sure. But H2G realizing the same fact, and now they're also trying to push in a little bit more. This means Next Ria are getting sandwiched, Dave.
S2G, they play this one so slow, so methodical. They recognize the push from the opposite end from Furious, and that was the time that they decided to make the collapse. And now it looks as if they might come on top because Yakita really low in the health department, below 50% HP, looking to pop one of these heals. But look at this, S2G, they're actually going to use this time to get a revive. So they're going to have 3 up here late game. That's huge.
Oh, he also lobbed in a nade inside the check. That means Yakita will have to move out, and he does. Confirming the elimination as well. Next Ria now eliminated out the game. Only top 3 teams left, Dave. Oh my god, I can already feel my adrenaline rush over here.
Look who's still alive from Enigma Galaxy, by the way. Look who's still alive, getting those placement points. Third place, 10 points confirmed. So that is huge considering they have no elim points. But Stalwart, 11. Circle shift, listen, 11 elim points, okay? And now the circle shift, so they have that north to kind of play with and move around. Meanwhile, S2G, they're going to be locked behind these walls, so it's going to be a challenge for them to push out. And not only that, look at Stalwart. They're 2-2 split. They got 2 on the high ground, 2 in this dip up close and personal. Looks like they'll be pulling back action here. They recognize their advantage, but 3 teams to go, Necro.
Yeah, I do like what Stalwart Esports is trying to do with your action. Of course, the man who likes to play on the front foot, and the rest 3 players are going to be on the back on the high ground. That means they're going to be having so much visual info to work with, as Stalwart Esports are just simply going to dominate it the way they're playing. If they don't make any rookie mistakes, without a doubt, Stalwart Esports will dominate this final zone. But H2G as well, they have 3 players alive.
I like how you put an action in the front line, kind of that Terminator, that one that seals the deal, has their teammates above them playing oversight, making sure that they stay alive, and now it looks like they're going to be setting top down here, so they're going to be working in tandem. Timber was connected on Silas behind the tree. Oh, it all comes down to this for game number 1.
Oh, it all does come down to this. Every single player sweating inside the lobby. And so does Stalwart Esports and H2G, but H2G a little bit more pressure added on their side as 2 players already taken out the game, and now Hamoudi as well. Seems like he's finally woken up from that nap. And well, guess what? Who takes it? Who backs the first game? It's going to be Stalwart Esports.
Let's go! Game number 1, Stalwart coming on top, not only with that winner chicken dinner, but a ton of elim points. Hamoudi though, hey, shout out to Hamoudi. Second place, I'll take that all day long as a solo snake, trying to avoid those sidelines, trying to play nice and sneaky. That is 12 placement points in 1 game. That's solid.
Huge. That's huge, dude. That's huge. If they're able to just play like that, play consistent, even able to get those consistent placement points, I mean, for a start of game, that's absolutely not bad. And if we talk about late rotations again, I mean, Godlike making the same kind of mistake, in these kind of southern zones, you always got to be those teams that are pretty quick to rotate. If you're not able to do so, you're just going to be held back, and that's what exactly happened. Alpha 7 was just hammering the pain into them.
Yo, what? Shout out to everybody watching right now, by the way. PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. You tuned into the right stream. We got 17 more games to go. Stalwart coming on top right there. I have to assume they are going to be getting a massive point lead. Not only the point lead in the #1 game, but also a confidence booster. We don't talk about this a lot, but that stress, right? Just imagine the stress levels on all these teams. For them to be able to come into this lobby, the most stacked lobby of the year, and come out on top, that is phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, that was game #1. Let's hear what the desk got to say about this first game. Over to you.
Well, you know what we have to say? I think Maxman was wishing we were doing predictions, not teams to watch, because he gets a prediction right. But let's be honest, boys. The guys from Mongolia coming in, taking a chicken dinner with that many eliminations, they've proven they've shown up to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why you have to look out for this team. They survive until the very last minute as a 4-man squad. They got themselves 14 eliminations on the very first game that they came to play here, Seven. They came here to play big time.
The way they were able to eliminate 4 rivals. I mean, 4 rivals that they were trying to pass that bridge, and Star Wars Esports were just able to hold that ground, hold that bridge camp. And then as soon as they were able to do that, the next circle popped up and they moved right away. So their communication is on point, and this is something that you were telling me, right? Yeah. They don't miss in regards to anything. I was actually really surprised too that how they were able to beat Nova. I thought maybe King from Nova was going to be able to surprise them a little bit. That backfired. King said, you know what? Let me just double think that. No, I'm going to go back, and he didn't even try to challenge it. Ultimately, he ended up hurting Nova.
See, I think for me, the most impressive fact about Stalwart is the fact that this is a team coming from Mongolia, right? We had Zeus Esports last year come in 3rd place. But you have this team who has really no international experience go into the global championship in the league stage and surprise us. But then to go into the finals and do something like this in match 1, they're saying to every team out there, like, you want that $1.5 million? You got to come for us. You got to come through us if you want to get it. And we can see here 29 points in match 1. That is a phenomenal start.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about this also, right? You had some teams that did maybe poorly into the league stage, did really good into the finals. Yeah. This is part of the few teams that got themselves to 3rd place in the league and also in the league finals for the Eastern region. And that consistency is definitely paying off. I had a chat with Senator, the coach of the team, and he said, we're going for that first place. And Dodoy, of course, they're going to go for that first place with that first performance here.
And 7, I think one thing to keep in mind of is the amount of teams we did see S2G and Navi come in from West, able to perform when they need to here. There's a lot of questions around West if they compete with East, and we already see 2 teams able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, with S2G, I was even mentioning, that's one team that definitely has championship caliber for me, the way they're able to play, the way they're able to be patient, and the way they were able to kind of control that circle there too. Same with Nextria. I felt like Nextria positioned themselves really well. Ultimately, it just ended up backfiring for them. But the fight against the Fenerbahce, that was a great fight. I think Nox was able to rotate late, right, Max? I know you want to talk about this one.
I want to jump on that one. When you're looking at Fenerbahce, they had such a good position. I think it was around phase 4, phase 5. They had a huge 4-man split, and they had a position advantage to get into that compound instantly. They took too long, and they left Nox in a scouting position that you do not need a scout anymore when you have a strong position like that, and they just got breached upon by the side of Nextria. It was so easy to execute. Fenerbahce, a little bit of a change towards the end there. That could have been their win on that first game.
Yeah, also important to see that Order was the MVP, and we talk about, teams now in PUBG Mobile 2021 going into 2022. It is so important to have a team of all-stars, and we always talk about Paraboy, but we've seen Order step up, we've seen King step up, we've seen even QC be thrown into the team in the midst of league stage into the finals, able to step up, and it's a great sign for Nova, who are the defending champions.
Definitely. I mean, another one that I know we saw Nova there, but S2G. We always talk about with them.
Go back to West teams.
Great, but let's talk about S2G.
I want to stick to my West teams, right? I know you guys are going to be pulling for those East teams. I'm going to be sticking to the West teams. And you know what? Let's even skip that. Let's go to Godlike. I feel like we had to talk about that. Alpha 7, they were trying to bridge camp Godlike, and it absolutely backfired thanks to Jonathan. We were mentioning he is just such a great player, and he's able to clutch up when he's needed to clutch up, and he was able to do that perfectly there. Sadly, it didn't end up working out ultimately because they ended up losing before Alpha 7 went out. But overall, it's at least some elims and some points that are going to count towards them.
The important part, though, for me in that is that Godlike are showing they're not afraid of any team, right? They're going to go up against Alpha 7. They're going to fight against pretty much one of the best teams from the West. and be able to do a decent job. And Jonathan's showing he still has that all-star power.
Yeah, they were just ready to go for the full push onto Alpha 7. That was very impressive. Jonathan able to get a somewhat clutch towards the end. He was able to get Neo back on his 2 feet, which is a really good play. But I think that, of course, this is a team that, because they don't have that international experience for a long time, the more games they're going to have, the more experience they're going to get, and they're going to change and adapt extremely quickly. So this first game, they're going to adapt, they're going to tweak things, and they're going to come back into the next wrangle even stronger.
Okay. Well, what about maybe some teams that maybe let you down? Not in a super negative sense, but like, for instance, Damwon, they were our finals champion of East. They didn't perform too well there at the very end, but they still had a decent showing. But it's not the team that we kind of would have expected after the results from finals.
Damwon is an interesting one on this game because they were trying their best to go for the swim rotation. They were trying to avoid the bridges, which is understandable, right? Because you have so many teams that have as a speciality to hold the western bridge or the eastern bridge. Here they just tried to go for full stack, swim over, and unfortunately doing so, you just lack information. They went right into Na'Vi, right into Nova, and it just went downhill from there on out.
In regards to teams that actually didn't perform that well, I want to talk about Team Secret. They ended up losing to Damwon. I felt like their rotation, their push towards Damwon, it was just something that I didn't expect out of the team. It looked sloppy, the way they were able to rotate. Even one of the players, he decided to push in with a buggy. The buggy pretty much ended up going over the hill as well, and it put him in a position where he wasn't able to fight. You could see him trying to jump back in the buggy, maybe being able to shoot from the passenger seat, but nothing worked out there for Team Secret.
Yeah, but it is just match one, and Team Secret luckily do have 2 players who have played in every single finals so far yet with Ice Shots and Mad Toy, dating back to 2019. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. We're going to actually do a little quick recap here. I'm not sure exactly what team it's going to be, but one thing I am sure of is you two are going to kill it talking about it.
That looks like the Kendi, man. I feel bad. I was like, bro, there's snow on the map. What's going on right now? But no, we're going to be having a little quick recap about what's happening so far. And the team I think we're going to be focusing on, we're going to see which one are we focusing on
right now.
I think it's
Stalwart.
Yep. Stalwart, yeah. Okay, so their usual drop that's going to go into Novo. Of course, having that sort of Nufka finish from the very get-go made it a lot easier. You don't have to cross those bridges. No need to cross that river. You're going to have a very easy time to get there. But the one thing I love, Seven, and we talked about that extensively during that game, was how they were not willing to push that compound early on because they knew that was going to be hot waters. That was going to be super contested. Just hold the northern side, wait for the circle to close off when all the teams already took that fight, and then you go for the push towards the end to get that win.
Just their timing right here. This is the main one that I wanted to talk about. Just the way they were able to surprise 4 rivals right there, being able to execute that so well. And something that I actually wanted to talk in regards to Stalwart Esports is they ended up with 14 illums, right? When we go to their healing, they only had 14 healing, and we saw them take so many engagements. That speaks volume of their positioning. They're being able to put themselves where they want to be. They're being patient as well, but when they need to strike, they're definitely striking. So Stalwart Esports, I mean, after that one game, boy, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are currently watching are going to have them as favorites.
So I think for me, Max, looking at this, right, obviously they dropped in the perfect position for the way the zones did shift.
Yeah.
I think what's important to notice is that, yes, they had zone, but they were able to get so many eliminations. We see so many teams be able to have zone, but they just play it super passive. But we know Stalwart is not a passive team.
But that's the thing I love so much, is that they knew exactly that that compound was held on by Next Rhea. That was super valuable at the time. They knew especially there was a lot of teams who were trying to survive in the midi area that were going to push out. You know that you're going to get third party through and through every time going for that push show. Just go for the high ground up north, get rid of Nova, which they did perfectly. The execution on that was top tier. And then just, you have the last circle. Sure, there was a little bit of circle lock on that very last circle, but they could have breached it anyways, even if the circle went away from them. So they played their position so well. This is why I love watching Stalwart play so much, because if they have an opportunity to win a game, 99% of the time, they are going to be able to convert that into a big win with big elimination points, which here they got 14. Big step up here.
And I mean, just going off base what we saw there, I really wish King from Nova Esports would have been able to take the fight. That would have distracted them. I feel like the rotation, when they lost that high ground, it put them in a horrible spot, as we were able to see there earlier. So maybe with Nova, I would like to see a little bit more aggressiveness out of them when it comes to that kind of stage. If you see them, because King was going to be able to surprise them. They had no idea that he was there. I know they were probably being a little bit worried, but when you get out, are you really going to be willing to give up that high ground and then backfire like this? I think Nova Esports is going to be able to learn a lot from that fight.
I think the play for King potentially was just get in involved. If you can get a little bit of damage, potentially not go to, then have the rest of your team come in. But because they had the information on where King was standing and where the rest, of course, of Nova supposedly were remaining, they just went into the circle, held onto the more northern western side, and just gate kept the rest of Nova and won that fight super easily without putting almost any effort. So Stalwart just took that easy win at the very end. It was great execution.
Yeah, you're going to be rotating pretty much to their eyesight, so might as well just take that fight. And don't put yourself in a curious situation where you're going to be losing the high ground and you're not really going to know where they're going to be shooting you at, because they're able to just pretty much pop up, hide, move around, and be able to pretty much eliminate you.
And I'm looking at Stalwart, and we always talked about Infinity when it came to East League as being one of the most consistent teams. But if you looked at the results, right, of some of these teams, we looked at Dam1, they finished first in finals, they finished 13th in league stage. Xavier finished second in finals, 14th in league stage. Stalwart finished third in finals, third in league stage. On the other side for West, Nexria, first in finals, 9th in league stage. Navi, second in finals, 12th in league stage. Stalwart has been probably one of the most consistent teams we have seen across both of these little mini events we've had within league stage, and they're showing that they still have that consistency now going into the grand finals.
Yeah, I would not even say one of the most consistent. I would say the most consistent. Again, two third positions back to back in those two stages is really insane. But hey, they started off, as I said, I talked with Senator. They're going for that first place. They want to be that first place team at the end. They want to be called the world champion, and this is a really good start to doing so here, Seven.
Up to a short break where we get things ready to go